So this is called my good debt, bad debt quiz. It works like this. If you think it's good debt, you say it's good debt. So if you think it's good debt, you say? Good debt. If you think it's bad debt, you say bad debt. If you think it's bad debt, you say? Bad debt. Oh, you're so good. So good. Right. Question number 1. We've been saving to buy a house. And it's been a struggle to build the deposit together. But we finally got there. We've been accepted for a mortgage. Can you not hear me? I'm going to have to hold a microphone. Oh, well. Oh, sorry. Now, I don't know what's wrong.
Listen to me, Luke.
Now, what was I doing? Good debt, bad debt, wasn't it? Okay. You've been saving up to buy a house, and we've managed to put the deposit together, which is really good. This is somewhere for the family to live for the long term. It's not an investment. This is our home. We've been renting previously, but we've managed to get a long-term 5-year fixed-rate mortgage. It's actually cheaper than the rent that we were paying before. So we're going to move in there, and hopefully it's going to be great for us all. Good debt, bad debt? Good debt. Good debt, bad debt? Good debt. Did you all just say good debt? Have you not ever heard, neither a borrower nor a lender be? Look, so the most important point of this question when you talk to your students about it, and you'll feel free to steal it, even the jokes, if you can pull them off, is, that was arrogant, I don't like myself for that. But I still got to laugh, you see how funny it is. So, debt can be good, or at least desirable and necessary in the right circumstances. And this is a crucial point because grandparental wisdom does say neither a borrower nor a lender be. And that logic is not suited for the 21st century. If you want a house, unless you are incredibly fortunate, you are going to need a form of debt. If you want to go to university, you are going to need what we call a debt. I do not believe it is a debt, but we call it a debt. And we've inured a nation of young people to borrowing because we called it a debt. What we did is say you have to get debt. We never said there's a difference between good debt and bad debt. And that's ultimately the point of this. To understand that the modern lexicon of finance cannot simply be about debt is bad. It's granularity. It's about understanding when debt and borrowing is right and when it is wrong for you. Question number 2. You've just seen this holiday to Jamaica. Cost £10,000. I earn £5,000 a year. But the payday loan company says it'll give me the money for only 10% interest an hour. Good debt, bad debt? Of course, do not confuse my message. I am not telling you borrowing is a solution. If you're going to borrow, it should generally be planned, budgeted for, affordable, and hopefully something tangible, either an investment in your future, or at least something that is cost reductive. Classic example of that, monthly car insurance. If you pay car insurance by the month, it is effectively a loan. And the APRs on that can be up to 50%. You would be better off to borrow on a 0% credit card. So therefore, debt can be cheaper, like you do there, don't you? Yes, well done. Yeah. Or alternatively, a mobile phone. When you buy a mobile phone on contract, that contract is effectively a loan as the mobile phone. I've still got that sugar in my mouth. There's a little bit with those, what were those little cakes, those with the seeds in? Anyway, so it is effectively a contract and a loan, and it should have an APR. It really should. It goes on your credit file when you get a contract mobile phone. Why? Because it's a loan. And again, APR's there, 50, 60%. There are cheaper ways to do it. So debt, either an investment or a cost reduction method, and they are not bad in that case. So that's question number 2. Question number 3, you ready? So I've worked in a big urban centre, city, for a long time, and I lost my job 6 months ago. And it has been very difficult. It's been a struggle to be able to feed the kids. We've used up all our savings. Been working really hard to find a new job. And it's tough in the current environment. Just been offered a job though. but the job is in the countryside. And we're going to move there. Found somewhere that we can live, we can afford to rent. It's not the nicest place in the world, but it's a job. Problem is, where this new house is, my work is 7 miles in that direction. And my kids' school is 7 miles in that direction. And one of them has a bad knee, so we cannot cycle or walk. Just in case you were going to be clever. So, we never had a car before because we lived in the city and got public transport. We're going to have to buy a car. If I don't get a car, I can't take the job. But I've been out of work for 6 months, I have no savings, and I do not have a good credit score. The cheapest loan I can get for the £2,000 car, which is the cheapest reliable car I can find, is 20% APR. Not ghastly, but expensive. And that is going to put me to the brink of my budget. The brink. But if I don't get the car, I can't get the job. However, this job has a 3-month probationary period. After 3 months, they can decide not to keep me on anymore. If I get the car and they don't keep me on after 3 months, I will go bankrupt because I cannot afford the repayments. Good debt, bad debt. Oh, you thought it was easy before, didn't you? All right, so what I want you to do now is I want you to have a think about it. Have a think about your attitude. Is it good debt? Is it bad debt? 3-month probationary period, no other income coming into the family, but you can't take the job at all unless you get your car because there is no other way of getting there and getting your kids to school, both of which are important. Okay, so we're going to do this by hands up rather than by shouting out aloud, class. So, hands up. Now, actually, I'm going to make you do something here. We don't like peer pressure. Close your eyes. Close your eyes, everybody. Come on. Hands up if you think, don't worry, it's nothing dodgy. Hands up if you think it's good debt with your eyes closed. You've got eyes. If you can see me, you're cheating. Hands up if you think it's bad debt with your eyes closed. Fascinating and almost exact 50-50 split in the room. One man's still got his hands up. You can put your hand down now. But well done for the eyes closed the whole time. Have we got a gold star or at least one of those sugar things I had before to give the gentleman over there? Well done. Mummy and Daddy will be proud. Now, an interesting 50-50 split. And actually, it tends to work. The older a group is, the more they tend to say it's good debt. The younger, if you do that with 15-year-olds, I would suggest you'll probably find it's 90-10 saying it's bad debt. So would you like to know what the official Martin Lewis money saving expert answer is? Yeah. It's grey debt, somewhere in between good and bad. And it's by far the most important of the 3 questions. Because in life, decisions are not black and white. And worse than them not being black and white, they have a measure, a level of uncertainty in them. Which means the only way you can truly answer that question is if you have a crystal ball, and they are very expensive. So what do? You plan for the worst, and you hope for the best. Now, those of you out there who said in your head, you know what? I believe in my own ability. I believe that if I work really hard and do everything I possibly can during that 3-month probationary period, they will keep me on. I'm willing to gamble on myself, and therefore, once I get that job, I'm now back in work, I can start to thrive. Hopefully after a year or so, I'll have a pay rise, things will get easier, I'll pay the car loan off, we start a new life, it's going to be wonderful, therefore this is good debt. Well done, you were right. Those of you who said, you know what, I've got faith in my own ability. If I keep trying hard, stay where I am, hopefully I'll get another job that doesn't involve me having to get the car. I'm willing to hang out for it and see what's going to come on further in my life. Something else will come up, so I'm not going to take the job. It's bad debt. You were right. Those who didn't put their hands up or just went willy-nilly, you've got the problem. And that's all we can do. All we can do is weigh it up and take a decision based on our own attitude to risk and how we feel about things. And this becomes really important in how we think about our own money and how we talk to kids about money too. Because in many school subjects, there is a black and white answer. Maths, certainly, most of the maths we do. And of course, financial education is split across the maths curriculum and across the citizenship curriculum. And very important, hopefully, in your schools, if you are doing it, that you join the two together. So when you're doing the numerical mathematics of debt in one class, you're doing the subjective views and discussion about debt in the citizenship class, because attitudes are just as important as calculation. The two are a wonderful marriage. But just to push this point a little bit further, who wants to play a game? It's an easy game. I'm not going to pick on you. It won't be hard. Anybody here? Put your hand up. Someone near the front, preferably. The lady there in the purple. Hello, purple lady. What's your name?
Donna.
Donna. OK. I have a coin in my hand. There you go. Is that a normal £1 coin? I'm not a magician. Yep. I cannot do prestidigitation. It's a normal £1 coin, a new £1 coin, thankfully. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to spend it. I'd have to take it in a bank, and that would be a pain in the bum. So I could donate it for a poppy. You're quite right. In fact, I'll donate it for a poppy anyways, now you've said that. So here we go. So I'm going to offer you a bet. I'm not. I'm going to offer you this bet. It's not real or true. This is the bet. If you win on a call of heads or tails, I'll give you £100. I won't. If I win, you only have to give me £1. She doesn't. Now let's imagine that were a real bet. I will give you £100. If you win, you'll give me £1 if I win. Is it a good bet? Is it a good bet? It's a great bet. 50-50 odds, 100 to 1, great upside, limited downside. Okay, let's toss a coin. Cool.
Heads, please. Tails.
Was it a bad bet? No. Was not a bad bet. It was not a bad decision. It was a bad outcome. And this is a crucial thing that you have to start to understand when you analyse all decisions that we make when it comes to finance. Was the decision wrong, or was the outcome wrong? Now, it's very clear-cut in a binary 50-50 situation like that. The outcome was wrong. What you did was fine. You've lost £1. You haven't really. But that's the point. You could have won 100. It's less clear-cut getting a mortgage, fixing gas and electricity. And those are all decisions that are based on uncertainty, like this, except they're far more granular. And that uncertainty is crucial in the classroom. It's crucial you start to give them the ability to deal with uncertainty. Should I fix my mortgage or go for variable? It's an attitude of risk as much as predicting the market. Should I fix my gas and electricity? When should I change my pounds into euros? Should I marry him or her? They are all decisions based on uncertainty. And with another hat on, I founded and I chair the Money and Mental Health Policy Clinic. The two things are a marriage made in hell. You are 5 times more likely to be in debt crisis if you have a mental health condition than everybody else. The clinical treatment time for depression is 18 months longer for people who have financial problems than for people who do not have financial problems. And uncertainty is a great feeder into the mental health condition. Adults struggle with uncertainty. It's easy to be glib in this talk I'm doing to you now. But one of the reasons I feel it's such an important part of what you need to teach is there are sometimes no right or wrong answers. All you can do is make the best possible decision that you can. And that final question is about that, which is why I do my encouragement. If you did this and said it was good, well done. If you did this and said it was bad, well done. Because neither of the answers are wrong. Much of what you're going to do in financial education, if I'm really honest, and you'll know I campaigned for this for years, I'm desperately passionate about it. You know, I work with Young Money on My Money Week in schools, and we're going to do a lot more together trying to educate. Actually, we need to be honest. The answers that you give them are probably not going to be remembered. But the fact there are questions and methodology for answering them is actually the important bit. How do you think? How do you contextualize? How do you understand to research? How do you know that there are questions out there? These are the crucial things that we need to give our young people. We live in one of the world's most competitive consumer economies. Since 1991, 26 years, we have educated our youth into what we call debt and never educated them about debt. That is a national disgrace that every politician who was in Parliament during that time should hang their heads in shame about. We campaigned to get financial education on the national curriculum. We did it in 2014. Let me be honest with you, it was a Pyrrhic victory, a false victory. I sat at the negotiation table the day before with Liz Truss and we debated what financial education meant. And there were times when they said, we'll do this. And I said, if you do that, I will not say you've done financial education. They were going to put a few numerical financial examples in the maths curriculum. Not enough. It needs to be bespoke in the maths curriculum. We need to tell them it's financial numeracy. You need to use contemporaneous examples. And we need to make sure that they understand it's real. It's not three men digging a hole. This is a real credit card leaflet. These minimum repayments are what you will really pay. You will be in debt from the age of 18 until the age of 45 if you borrow £3,000 and only make the minimum repayments on a typical credit card. That's real life. And that needs to be said. So we got it on the national curriculum. Then we got a diddly squat budget to educate teachers. We've got diddly squat continuing training. We've got diddly squat resources put into schools. And the academisation of education means now only 40% of schools have to follow the national curriculum anyway. So I'll be honest with you, we're back to the drawing board. But you are the most important people and your head teachers. To those of you who are centres of excellence, thank you. To those of you who aren't, think about it. Try and persuade. If you don't want to do that, at least do your financial education properly. I give you my pledge and my promise. I am going to put what I can into making this happen, my time and my financial resources into making sure that every one of our children in our schools are being taught properly about financial education. But every one of you needs to push it too. We subserve them if we get it wrong. They are poor consumers. £20 billion of PPI, more than that, has been missold. 0.01% of that could pay for all the financial education in every school in our country. We are short-sighted politically on this. But you know what? We cannot afford to wait for the politicians. If we do, I will have grey hair and still be devilishly handsome. But that will not solve it. So we need to do it ourselves, and we're going to do it ourselves, and this is the start point of that. Because otherwise our young people won't be as good at their jobs. Ever been into a shop and realised that the person serving you doesn't know their consumer rights? Well, the customer doesn't know and the person serving. That leads to friction in our society. Some of you will have children who are at university. You probably don't know there's an official parental contribution that you're meant to pay, and your child has probably never had the conversation, partly because the government tries to hide it. Financial education, yes, it makes you realise there are more problems that you think, but once you understand the problem, you can start to have a dialogue to making it better. So we need to equip them with the tools to ask questions, to know when they don't know the answer, is perhaps the greatest gift that you can give them. Because at the moment, unless you do it, the only financial education they will have is the 3-minute breaks in the adverts on the telly or the 20 seconds at the start of a YouTube video. And that's not good enough. Thank you.